Hi guys, so I wanted to make this quick video. Now, I personally believe, like 99% of me believes, that they've already found and recovered Jay's mobile phone. Now, we had that person who posted quite a while ago saying, look, I'm in Spain, Jay's phone's been found. It was so smashed that it was hard for them to get anything off of, and even the charging port was all bent. Now, that to me doesn't ring true, because they don't need to be able to turn the phone on, or, they can take stuff out of the phone anyway. The police are trained in doing that. But I do honestly believe that they have that mobile phone. Now, this new kind of revelation that came out, I think it was yesterday, that one of the journalists over there had actually spoke to the police as they'd came out from doing that forensic exam. Or we call it a forensic exam. Let's face it, they put on booties and went into the house to try and make it look like they were doing something. He spoke to them as they came out, and they gave him a tidbit of information that is really relevant. So they told him wherever the phone last pinged, it looked like it had been thrown into that location. So let's look at exactly what he said. So look, this is a journalist covering Jay's case in Tenerife, who has spoken to Spanish police and sleuths on the ground investigating his disappearance, has now highlighted a new theory that could explain why the teenager's phone pinged in a dangerous mountainous area. After having a conversation with ex-British Army officer, reporter Nick Pisa believes Jay's phone may have been thrown. Pisa said the mobile's GPS location could only be possible if the phone was thrown into the terrain. He told GB News, "We're not obviously being kept up to speed, but the former officer did tell me he thought where the ping came from was rather surprising because it was really steep to get to, and it was covered in undergrowth and cacti." Now, if you put two and two together, if the phone was thrown to that location, it's still going to be there, i.e. would have been recovered. And also, let's remember where the phone was supposed to have last pinged, near to that palm tree, which was only about 20 foot, for instance, off of the path, the main road, then that would be that somebody in a car has stopped at that location and just tossed the phone. Now, to me, this makes so much more sense, and it would prove that Jay was never particularly far deep into that mountainous area. And though they may have been looking out there for further information, clothing, etc., I very much doubt they're ever going to find Jay in those mountains. It also does give some hope into the investigation, because we know the Civil Guard do keep a lot of stuff under judicial secrecy. So until they've completed an investigation, you won't know what they have. And I would expect if they now know the phone was tossed off the side of the road, they are looking into who could have tossed it. And let's remember, a lot of that Masca area is covered by that webcam. So who knows what will come out in the future. We also saw on the Masca footage, do you remember, the two men that kept pulling up in that white car and getting out and going slightly over into that mountainous area before returning to the car? After it got so big, were they trying to go back and find that phone before anyone else could, knowing they'd thrown it there? Personally, I don't think there's going to be too much found on that phone, because I think whatever happened to Jay that night, Jay wasn't privy to what was going to happen, and I think it's other people's phones that need to be looked at. People like Lucy and Brandon, they need to have their phones checked. I can't remember any other case that I've looked into, that I've worked on, I've kind of taken any kind of mere look at, where people, the main players in the case, the men at the Airbnb, the friends who were last with Jay's mum, who's had these threats on her phone, have not had their phones taken away from them throughout this entire investigation to be forensically examined. That's something that really worries me. But we do know that whatever is being deleted can be recovered at a later date by police.